All right, good morning, everybody. Larry Krueger here on top of the parking structure across from Levi's Stadium before training camp practice. I believe number 7 for the 49ers. We will take a look at it this morning. It is an absolute gorgeous day today. Beautiful, sunshiny day here in Santa Clara. I cannot wait. Training camp is fun to watch. We're going to cover it for you all day today. We're going to have some great stuff. But we are going to talk a little bit about the news of the day. And, of course, we're brought to you by Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out, so get there early. Go talk to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket chili. Tell them Krug sent you. Niners on the practice field today, and a number of things we'll be interested in looking at, but they did make a couple moves this morning that we want to talk about. They had a workout over the last couple days, and they worked out a number of guys. They looked at Jeff Wilson Jr., and the former Niner, who played 9 games last year, was with the Niners 2018 through 2022. And then they traded him to the Dolphins in 2022. So they worked out Jeff Wilson. They worked out D'Ernest Johnson. They worked out Deion Jackson. Jackson is a 26-year-old running back, 5'11", 220. Pretty good athlete, 4.42 speed. He played at Duke. And then they worked out Ameer Abdullah from Nebraska. And they signed Abdullah today. So Abdullah played at Nebraska, as I said. He's been around the block. He's 5'9", 203 pounds. He's played on 4 NFL teams, always kind of mediocre speed, 4.55 speed. Has found a way to exist in the NFL. Detroit, Raiders, a couple other teams, I believe, along the way. Obviously, he's played in 4 NFL teams. This probably is because of an injury to Jordan James, and I don't know the specifics on James's injury, but he missed practice yesterday. I don't think it's anything serious. I also don't have great depth at that spot. They could probably use another back to absorb some of the carries and some of the camp punishment. I mean, you can't just ask Corey Kiner, Jordan James, Patrick Taylor and Guerendo and CMC to shoulder the entire running back load all summer. You got 3 preseason games. You got some joint practices. I mean, you want to spread that punishment out if you can, especially since you don't want to use CMC. I don't know if Guerendo's gotten dinged, but Corey Kiner runs very physically. Taylor is another guy who's been hit a lot. The running backs wind up getting hit a little bit in the live drills, and a lot of times guys are on defense trying to punch the ball free, and there's just a lot of contact for the running backs in training camp. So having another back is a good idea always, and Abdullah's a veteran NFL running back at this point who's been around the block. He's not the biggest back, but he'll hit the hole and catch the ball. He can play a little special teams. I've never been a huge fan of Ameer Abdullah. He was thought to be a better player coming out of Nebraska than he ultimately has become. But, credit the guy. He's stuck in the league for a number of years, and at this point he's probably just camp depth for the 49ers. But that's an interesting name. Now, the 49ers also made another move. In addition to working out Ameer Abdullah, Deion Jackson, Jeff Wilson, D'Ernest Johnson, and then signing Ameer Abdullah today, they also worked out some wide receivers. They worked out Andy Isabella, Cornell Powell, and Marquez Callaway, and it's an interesting trio. I mean, Callaway played at Tennessee, has good size. He was pretty good with the Saints in 2021 when he had a decent year. He had 46 receptions and 6 touchdowns. Not a burner either. And then Cornell Powell I've always liked. He played at Clemson, and he's been with the Chiefs. I mean, he's the ultimate winner in some ways. The guy's won two national championships with Clemson, 2 Super Bowls with the Chiefs, and he even won a UFL title. So he's the ultimate winner. But the guy the Niners signed today was Andy Isabella. And, I've always been a fan of Isabella. This guy is going to be interesting to watch. Now, I don't, they they've got some return. He's got some return ability. He's also got some. He's a sticky hand guy with good speed. I mean, second round pick by the Arizona Cardinals back in 2019 out of UMass. This guy was great at UMass. I mean, he wasn't just good; he was great. He had 30 career touchdowns there, but he's now 28. He's 5'9". Not quite 190, I would say. 5'9", 185, 5'9", 188, something like that. He was really good in 2020 with the Arizona Cardinals. He had a really good year in 2020 with the Arizona Cardinals. But he's been on Arizona, he's been on Baltimore, he's been with Buffalo, he's been with Pittsburgh. The reason a number of teams always want to take a look at Andy Isabella, he has 4.3 speed, legit 4.3 speed. I mean, he ran 4.31 coming out of UMass, and he's field fast, and he's a tough little guy too. I mean, this guy's tough and fast. I've always liked him. He's never quite found the right situation with the right quarterback at the right time. It just hasn't quite happened in his career. He's not a superstar player, but he can be a very effective player in the right system. And I'm eager to see what he's got left. I mean, if he still has the kind of athleticism and movement skills that he once had, he's 28 right now, so he's been in the league a few years. But if he still has that explosiveness and that stop-start and that 4.3, low 4.3 speed, and he's tough. This is a tough little guy. Isabella is tough, and he's fast. So, I'm eager to see how much he's got left athletically. If he has a lot left athletically, he can absolutely make this football team. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, he's an extra guy at this point, and they got a bunch of receivers, and it's like, who knows who's going to produce. You got some young receivers, you got some hurt receivers, you have some, there's a lot of guys there that are projectable, but he has a different skill set than them. He's got return ability, he's got 4.31 speed. You do have speed here, but your speed is Isaiah Nayer, who runs 4.40 and is very raw and probably should be ticketed to the practice squad. Jacob Cowing, who runs 4.37 and is has great speed, but he's been hurt right now, and we don't know how exactly what his trajectory is going to look like. And he's a smaller receiver who's probably going to get hurt. And then you have Jordan Watkins, who really looks good. He's a bigger guy, and I think Watkins is my pick of their offensive picks to be the guy who really busts out. I think he's going to be really good. I mean, Jordan Watkins, I think, is already starting to show that he's going to be a significant player for the 49ers, I think. But Isabella is not, if he still has the athleticism that he had coming into the league, which is a big if, he could be interesting. So I'm going to be watching him today. He's a guy that has the talent, has the speed, has the toughness. He's a tough little guy. And he can run the gadget plays. He can be a special teamer. I think he's really interesting in the slot. Andy Isabella to me is interesting, but he was interesting to Baltimore, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Arizona before. So you got to acknowledge that this is his fifth NFL team, but I've always liked him as a prospect. So Andy Isabella and Ameer Abdullah, the two newest 49ers, and we'll check them out on the practice field later on this morning. You can tell it's going to be a warm day. Should be really interesting to see what the 49ers look like today. A couple other guys that I really want to see. It's been a great fit thus far for Mac Jones with the 49ers, and he looks really good. He's completing a high percentage. He looks comfortable. Kubiak praised his intellect and said, man, this guy's a really smart guy. He's a different skill set than Purdy in some ways, because obviously he doesn't move like Purdy. But in other ways, he could be very, very interesting because he processes. If he processes like Brock and he can get the ball out. I mean, you've heard Brock describe himself, hey, I'm a point guard. I want to get the ball out to my guys. And that ultimately is, the guys who run this offense best operate it that way. They get the ball out to the playmakers. It's a lot of short stuff, a lot of run after the catch, a lot of, misdirection and fooling the defense and everything's a lot of east-west, especially this year with Guerrero. I think there's a real good chance they're going to try to get Guerrero in open spaces. It's just going to be a real interesting year, I think, to watch the quarterbacks. And I think Mac Jones looks good so far, and I want to see if he can stack days. One other guy that the Niners worked out yesterday that I think is kind of interesting is Carter Bradley. And now this is Gus Bradley's son. The Niners only have 3 quarterbacks. And if they ever want to not use Purdy, then it becomes all Mac Jones and Mordecai. Mordecai's got a strong arm and he's got 4.4 speed, but he throws kind of a flat ball, and you have to throw with some touch in the NFL. And I haven't seen a lot of touch on his passes. It's a lot of low lasers. It's a lot of line drives. Even his deep ball's very on a line. There's not a lot of loft. So Carter Bradley's interesting. Will they sign him or not? I don't know. They worked him out. This is Gus Bradley's son. Smart guy, though. Kind of a limited athlete. He's got a real good feel, though, as the son of a coach. He started his college career at Toledo, was a 4th-year grad transfer to South Alabama. He finished at South Alabama. And, he's got good stature, 6'2", 215 pounds or so. He's pretty decisive. He knows where to go with the football. Another guy, he's kind of like a Brock. He's kind of like a Mac. He can process. And, he's a tough guy. He'll stand in. He'll take hits against the rush. He had a knee injury in 2023. He's another guy, kind of like a Mordecai in some ways. He's got a good arm strength, but he needs better touch. They worked him out, and I don't know what the verdict is, if they're going to sign him or not, but they are a quarterback shy with Rourke on the, Rourke basically injured and rehabbing, not playing at all. And so as the summer goes on, it'll be interesting to see, do they add a quarterback this summer? And if so, will it be Gus Bradley's son, Carter Bradley? I think I think it's a good idea. I really do. I think in a lot of ways, Carter Bradley is very similar to Tanner Mordecai. Mordecai's got way better speed. Mordecai can run 4.4. But they both have that, and they both have that kind of, they need to work on kind of having a little bit of loft, being able to throw the ball over defenders, and their deep ball, both guys' deep balls kind of on a line, and they both need to work on their touch. But I think he would be an interesting guy to add, and obviously with his dad coaching here, it might be a good fit. So they haven't announced anything on that, but that'll be something to watch for as well. All right, we're gonna head out to practice. Got to wear the lotion today. Probably gonna bust out the hat today because it's that kind of a day. But looking forward to a very good practice. We'll talk to you afterwards. Join me tonight at 6 o'clock on Niners Nightly on KMBR. The great Mike Sando from The Athletic is going to join me, and we'll get kind of a national perspective on, from Sando. And we'll also talk a little NFC West with Sando. What he thinks of the Rams, what he thinks of the Seahawks, what he thinks of the Cardinals. A little divisional breakdown tonight on Niners Nightly on KMBR. That's at 6 o'clock. All right, that does it for us. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting me. The Krug Show on YouTube.